Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the State of the AI Union. I am your host, Laura, and join with me today is my friend Mala Ramakrishnan, a rare blend of operator, founder, and investor, currently at Progressive VC. Mala has spent decades building and scaling enterprises across product, engineering, and go-to-market roles. And today she brings that operator lens into her work as an investor backing the next generation of AI companies. Now, what makes Mala's perspective especially valuable is that she's seen AI from every angle inside large organizations, startups, and across the portfolio of founders. So today, we're going to talk about what she looks for in AI companies, the assumptions founders get wrong, and how her operator instincts translate when you're on the other side of the table. Mala, welcome. Would you like to introduce yourself and maybe a little bit about Progressive as well?
Thank you, Laura. I'm so thrilled to be here and talking to you. So I'm Mala Ramakrishnan, founder and managing partner of Progressive Ventures. We invest in B2B SaaS AI first companies, primarily seed stage companies. And we love accelerator backed companies like YC StartX and Skydeck, but we do run our own accelerator as well. And we back our founders. So, yeah.
Very cool. Thank you. And I think the big question here, Mala, is like one of the things that is so unique about your profile, as I said before, is that you've lived on both sides of the table, right? And so from that viewpoint, what are the first signals that you look for that tell you an AI company is built for sustainability, not just for a cool looking demo?
Absolutely. I think go to market is the differentiation in today's age. Deep tech used to be the moat. And I think that's changed where deep tech has become commoditized by the public cloud vendors and foundational models. So a lot of what I'm looking for when it comes to durability is, have you picked a niche? How big is that niche? Does it have a massive TAM? And how many connections do you have in that niche? Do you have domain expertise? Do you have data access? Are you able to build something that is meaningful for an industry that has not been transformed before? And I think that's what's happening today, right? This is relevant for just now. And this keeps changing, which is why I'm kind of highlighting that. But in addition to that, I am looking for personality traits as well of the founder, right? Are they resilient? Are they able to build a team? Are they able to lead? How confident are they in their own vision? Are they clear in articulating that vision? Are they able to sell themselves? Right. So it's a lot of sales that needs to happen for a founder to succeed. So yeah, those are sorts of things I'm looking for. It's a marathon, right? Company building, I think, is an ultra marathon.
Yeah,
And so,
absolutely.
does this person have the will to go beyond what it takes in order to get there?
Yeah. And you said an interesting phrase. You said deep tech used to be the moat. And are you seeing now that when founders are coming up, because I actually see like so many different founders, a lot of them actually don't have technical backgrounds and they're like coming up on it. Do you see that the trend now is to overinvest in go-to-market foundation versus the tech, or are you still seeing that they're leaning more towards the tech and trying to like differentiate that?
Well, I would be concerned if the person was completely not technical and they didn't choose a technical co-founder. Because in order to be ahead I mean, every day there's new innovation, as you know today, thanks to the AI, right? I mean, it's always been that. I used to joke Silicon Valley is like a ocean where every day a new wave of innovation is picking up and you just have to learn to surf and ride the waves. But I think those waves are just like closer together and faster and much taller than ever before. So you do need a technologist to help you navigate that and leverage the technology in order to build your product. And that could be you as the founder himself or herself. But in addition, I think you need domain expertise in order to differentiate yourself, which didn't quite matter previously because we still needed a new CRM or we still needed email, better email and things like that. And it's not the case anymore, right? Cloud services are here. Really easy to spin up a cluster and build your product from day zero. You can get AI credits. OpenAI gives you credits. So many companies give you credits these days. So then the job of your CTO should be, or a head of engineering should be, to figure out those resources to get you up and running and build a product that can be scalable while the focus of the company has to be a domain differentiation, I think, at this time.
Well, that's really interesting, right? Because that means that people have to come out from their specialized domains and then decide that, hey, I want to build a company, and that means that the average age of the founders may have to increase versus what it used to be like many years ago.
Be that way. I think founders, I think you need to be young and in your mind and in your heart to be a founder. And so if you come out of your domain and you have a depth of experience like pharma and you say you're going to start a company, I don't know quite if that's going to work, honestly. I think youngsters still have to start companies just the way it always has been, but they need to find the right domain experts to partner with, or dive themselves deeply in a domain in order to quickly gain that experience and learn and grow. And all of it is possible. I don't think any of us were born as pharma executives or experts in healthcare. And so the question is, that's exactly what I mean. Like, how much resilience and persistence does that founder have in order to say, this is the domain I'm going to choose to fall madly in love with?
Mm.
And so it could be someone who is an expert who wants to come out and start an idea as well. But then the question then becomes, are they able to stay agile as required by a founder? How quick and adaptive are they? Because I think it's a long game, but you need to iterate and move fast as a founder, right? So you can't say, oh, well, it's a 10-year, 15-year horizon. Let me take my time to build this thing. Then you'll be dead before you realize it because someone else is going to come and do exactly what you're trying to do and deliver much faster with the technologies available today.
So let's go back to what you said about go to market and this as a differentiator, and that's also something that I'm really personally passionate about. In go to market right now for a lot of AI investments, are you seeing the trend lean more towards PLG or SLG? And any reason for either?
Product-led growth versus what is SLG?
Sales led growth.
Sales-led growth.
Yeah, yeah.
I think product-led growth has always been the route to success. But there are certain industries where the experts are not online, like medical doctors or construction workers or cement factories, like all kinds of these industries that need to be disrupted and are getting disrupted actively today. Um, And so then the question becomes, does product led growth really deliver? And it doesn't. Unless you're a very tech focused product, um, it's very hard to say I'm going to focus on product led growth at this point. It has to be the industry connections and very traditional B2B. If you're building developer tools, then maybe, but I mean, the market is oversaturated with developer tools at this time. So I invest very sparingly in those, unless I see hundreds and thousands of users using a product, and we have some of those in our portfolio. I usually don't double down on those unless they have that sort of traction, and that's usually product-led growth, right? They're going viral because of some usability, easy monetization, perhaps is usually one reason. Yeah,
Yeah. So it sounds like sales led growth is still sort of the way to go. And,
yeah.
and that is also generally how enterprises like buy AI. What are you seeing as far as the common, assumptions or maybe mistakes that founders are making as they're trying to sell AI into the enterprises?
Well, I don't think you should try and sell AI into an enterprise, right? It's like saying I'm going to take spreadsheets and sell it into an enterprise.
Mm,
I think AI is like spreadsheets. It's just a tool.
mm,
The question is, what's the bigger problem you're trying to solve?
mm-hmm,
And I'm looking for founders who are madly in love with the problem. You're so madly in love that you'll use any tools needed in order to deliver, and AI is just one tool. So if you're going to go into an enterprise and sell, then you need to be thinking about traditional sales. What is the big problem that they have, and what is the solution that they need? And the cutting edge innovation we have with AI is going to give you solutions that were quite unimaginable just yesterday, right? And that's the unique point in time that we're in. How have you used AI in order to replace human beings, to speed up processes, to cut down resources, um, to bring better as in better customer support, better care for who the enterprise is addressing? And if you're able to excel in those things, then you can succeed. So I don't think the model of sales has changed as much as the solution that is delivering those problems has changed thanks to the AI. Right?
So that's very interesting, right? Because what you're saying is that you want to identify the use case and solve for that use case. And the way that you're solving for it is that, we're doing it slightly different, slightly better, maybe materially better, using AI as the tech behind how we're solving for it. I think one of the challenges with that is that these use cases that we are solving for, these business problems, have always existed, probably, have existed in the last 10, 15 years. And that usually means that the enterprise is already solving for it, just in maybe a non-native AI way. Maybe they're solving it for with bolt on, or they're solving it in some other manual way. Um, what do you think is sort of one of the best ways you've seen founders approach that sort of conversation? By saying, "Hey, you're already using it, you're already solving for it, but here's a better way." Yeah.
Well, the better is tangible only when you're able to tie that with money, right? If you're able to walk into, let's say, a dentist's office and say, just imagine if you're able to schedule patients more effectively. And as a result of that, you're saying 50% greater returns on every dentist's time, that the dentist share is optimized, right? Then they will be like, okay, a little bit, tell me more. You can't just walk in and say, I have this AI technology that's going to make your life better. They'll be like, what? Where I lose my job,
Right,
right?
right, right, right.
When you go in with an AI mindset and talk to like traditional industries like universities, I've tried to sell, right? I'm a very relatively new venture capitalist, so I'm AI. I've sold artificial intelligence into universities and other traditional industries. I used to teach artificial intelligence at Stanford in '99, so I've been doing AI for a long time, long before it was cool.
Yeah.
Um, and so that's the thing that I think. Yeah, if people get scared that AI replace their jobs, people are paranoid that AI has accuracy issues, that humans have more accuracy, humans have more empathy. And so I wouldn't go in with the AI at all. I would talk about what the value that the company or that organization will receive in terms of money. Because all businesses are there to make money, right? Otherwise, they will not survive. And so that's always been the nature of sales. How can I save you money? How can I save you time? Time is money. So then, if you approach it from that angle and say, what is their core metric by which they're measuring their success? And that core metric, will that change as a result of which they'll get better monetization?
Mm-hmm.
So in Stanford Healthcare, it would be patient onboarding times, perhaps, or in loan origination, perhaps for a financial institution, right? Or for an education institution, perhaps it's student retention or student graduation rates. So you'll have to think of what is that metric by which they're already measuring themselves by, and how is that being optimized today. And with your tool, now that you have AI, how is that metric going to change as a result of which that organization should become more profitable? Then it's an easy in, I think.
Yeah. So a lot of it is actually like just really good sales skills, AI or no AI, right? Just talking
Yeah,
about the impact of the problem, and like and that if we could materially change the outcomes, would that actually be worth spending money?
absolutely. Yes. Yeah.
Okay, good. And what do you think are some things you've seen founders um do, like, commonly do badly in their first, like, sort of go to market sales pitches, when they're either trying to pitch to you or to customers?
Yeah, I think the common challenge I've seen founders make is that, well, one is they take their investment decks and go and pitch to sale to their customers. Please don't do that, because
Mm.
the customer doesn't care about the TAM and SAM and SOM,
Okay.
right? Also, I'd say don't start with pricing sheets. Think
Uh-huh.
about the value, because when you're a startup, especially, you're still figuring it out. So give yourself a little bit of bandwidth there, like a little bit of leeway. Um, Also, I think it's very easy to get stuck on snowflakes, I call them, which is each customer has unique problems. And you go get stuck with one customer just because you landed up getting a Fortune 500. You landed like this big deal, right? Or a big name customer. And then you're sucked into it, where you're just focusing on this one customer. And then when you come out of it after 2 years, you realize no one else has the same problem as this one customer. That is more common than not, and that kills a lot of startups. So I think a lot of customer discovery is important so that you don't become like a service integrator solving like point solutions for multiple customers. Because AI is that at this point. It's a lot of point solutions being built with artificial intelligence tools. And it can be pretty exciting and very exhilarating to go solve a big company's problem until you wake up and realize this is not a repeatable problem. You cannot scale it beyond one customer. So I always advise my founders, if you don't have six companies saying they have the same problem, and six is a magic number.
Mm,
So to get to six, you need to talk to 60, you know? And so to get to 60, to talk to 60, you need a lead funnel of at least 600.
yeah.
And so the TAM has to be massive. Otherwise, and it may very well be the case that those 600 that you reach out to may not be any of your customers because you're doing early discovery with them. And when you're doing early discovery with some customers, you lose credibility. They'll say, oh, she's really new. And then they may never buy from you because they think you're just a young startup. So then there needs to be sufficient number of customers. Like this industry has to be so massive that you can afford to make mistakes and learn.
Right. Right.
Right.
Right.
And so six is a magic number that I usually, I have that in my head when I'm looking at decks saying, okay, who's the early traction? There'll be like one customer. I'm like, okay, that's greater than zero. But then
I like that formula. I never heard, 6 is a magic number for having the number of problems, like the problems that you want to solve. It at least 6 customers have to
the
have the
same problem needs to be available and maybe like slight variations that you can customize. But there has to be a sufficient number of people willing to say this pain exists and I really need this bomb, right? BALM, bomb to heal it.
Got it. Cool. Any really interesting AI use cases that you can tell us about that have come your way?
Oh, there's a ton of them. I think voice agents are finally here. It's super exciting. I see a lot of marketing automation tools being transformed, ton of DevOps tools. It's super exciting, but it's really nerve wracking because it's really easy to just, fork Visual Studio and build the next IDE and think you're going to be the next Claude. Um, a lot of exciting things, especially in healthcare that I've seen, like literally like dentist offices being disrupted with voice agents, realtors, mortgage brokers. I think a lot of these sorts of industries are much more, massive than we could have ever imagined before. Like the more I look at these companies, I'm like, these are big industries. These are like $5 billion to $15 billion industries. And this is just in the United States, right? So it's very exciting time when I'm looking at these, and I think that's kind of the trend in general. I've observed that a lot of companies being born in these niches.
Okay, cool. Okay, what's one piece of advice you'd give to AI founders building companies right now?
Yeah, this is a standard advice that don't forget that you're when you go fundraising, you're selling a piece of your company, right? People go with the begging bowl saying, "Oh, I'm ready. I have this brilliant idea." I'm like, "Yes, you do. You're capable of it." But then I will be an owner in your company and I'll have authority over you, much more than you can imagine. And that's going to continuously happen. So are you really ready for that? Company building is a team sport, and your investors are going to be your partners in that sport. So choose wisely when you're going to fundraise. I think every penny that you get in the beginning should be from customers. Um, like your first million, if you can hit with customer traction, then there's no stopping you.
It's amazing. Yeah, really good advice on sustainability as well.
Yeah.
Mana, would love to learn a little bit more about you as a person. And we met through our kids.
Yeah.
And I wanted to ask how you think becoming a parent has changed the way that you view risk.
Wow, that's a loaded question. And I've seen you ski. You're like the most, the riskiest person on the slope, according to me, trailing with four kids trailing you. Yeah, I think those are the best to be skiing along your side.
Mhm.
I think the risk. See, I'll tell you that just in the context of skiing, when I came to the country, I'd never seen snow, and I was such a speed junkie. I was 21, doing blacks at the end of the year.
Wow.
And now I am so cautious because of the children. And I think it's a good thing. I
Mm,
think I've become more patient.
mm,
I take different kinds of risks, right? I take risks that are much more in favor of outcomes rather than just an exhilarating high. It's more measured, but much more outcome based, right? For us to be able to see returns on it. And I think that's a good thing. And that's part of, growing up and getting maturity. I think I'm a better people manager as well. Having children makes you, I don't think two human beings are alike, let alone children. And so, if once you become a parent, you become incredibly efficient at taking care of people who are incapable of caring for themselves and who are very persistent and can be quite annoying at times and demanding, which is how children are over the years as they grow, right? They're making demands of you and your time and energies in ways that you cannot imagine. And as a parent, your goal is to make them turn out to be the best human beings possible because that's the only thing you can do out of all that love you have for them. So it just transforms you to be this people manager in unimaginable ways with patience and love and empathy. You're also managing at a different level when it comes to managing your time and resources around those children that you're raising, right? To be able to effectively balance everything and pull it off. And I remember you pulling out some peanut butter jelly sandwiches on the ski slopes. I was like, whoa, that's one parenting tip. Like always pack food.
yeah, yeah. Just be prepared, you know?
Always be prepared like a Girl Scout. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And Mala, what about one of the things that I struggle with a lot is technology and AI in my home and in my children. How are you sort of managing that conversation and thinking about exposure to a lot of these easy answers, right? That the kids have access to these days.
So I think the human mind tends to cling to the negative. And so rather than put a negative spin on technology, I put a positive spin on sport and
Mm,
music
mm,
and um, much more extroverted actions like socialization and leadership, friendliness. And so I think that's worked really well. And I used to question if that's the right parenting route. Rather than take away your phone or restrict screen time or turn off the television on a child's face, we've always praised the friendships in their lives and the amount of time that they've spent outdoors. And, that they have now actually achieved things that their parents could not have on the soccer field. And take them out on these planned vacations and trips where they're completely immersed in nature and they have no choice. And we make choices too. I pick up books and read it around the house. My husband does it by choice. I have to kind of force myself. He's a reader in general. He just like even reads the same book again with a lot of relish. And that really helps the boys. And then we do like these jigsaw puzzles, especially with grandma. Traveling with grandma has been a blessing. She's 75, my mom, and she brings along like a thousand piece jigsaw puzzle, and she's just immersed in it. And the kids are like falling all over her trying to do it, and these are teenagers.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
rather than focus on television, they're doing the jigsaw puzzle. So I think it's a lot of turning away into the more positive than saying no, you don't be on your phone. I'm taking it away by force, or I'm taking away your candy treats. And that's been our parenting style, and I'm gonna say it's working. I don't know, they're not adults yet. Hopefully, they're doing it right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I really like that. Turning them towards the behavior that you are interested in versus stopping them from the things that you know that
Yeah,
they,
I picked up the guitar and started learning as an adult.
oh, okay.
Yes, I'm lousy at it, but they see me sitting and practicing, and so my younger son does 3 bands. He's on, he plays the sax. He picked up the sax and learned to play on his own. He plays the clarinet. He plays the percussion. So it's a lot of music around the house and, lacrosse and soccer. And this is the place to do it, right?
Yes.
So, yeah.
Yeah, awesome. And Mala, you also mentioned that you came to this country at 21 years old. What do you think have been some of the key traits that have helped you um, stay uh, stay on the path towards this route? Maybe not even knowing that this is where you'd end up.
Yeah, I think, again, resilience is the name of my game. I've been through insanely difficult situations in the workplace. Um, I don't know if this is what it was like for everybody else. And I started when at an age when we didn't know there was bias, which
Mhm,
worked in my favor in some ways, but also against me because I couldn't label what was going on and to kind of normalize it, saying it's not me. This is the way it is. So I've struggled a lot, I think, in the tech industry as a result. And I'd say it's been pretty hard in the last years in my 40s as I've gotten older and more mature to hold executive leadership positions.
mhm,
And so all through, it's been consistent that I have believed fiercely in myself, in my integrity and my goodness. And I hold myself to a very high standard of kindness and empathy. And it's not just towards others, but towards myself as well. And so if I didn't succeed at something, um, I am still proud of myself that I tried. It's far more than any woman in my ancestry did. None of the women in my ancestry even worked.
mhm,
So I
mhm,
don't have a lot of role models. And so if I get booted out, I'm like, well, thank you for all those years or months that you had me, and you used my talents. And I think that's really helped me get here where I think I'm in a position of power finally to be able to write checks and to make decisions and to guide others. So people flock around me now for words of advice. And in the beginning, I used to think it was ridiculous. And are they being sarcastic that they want my feedback and advice? And I'm realizing, well, maybe I've gotten there. I'm
mhm,
now the village elder. So
mhm.
I'm enjoying it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. I love what you said about being a role model also, and I think one of the things that, maybe younger women struggle with also is not having enough of those
Yeah.
in, in the industry, in tech, and not having a lot of mothers maybe in there, or maybe we're just not visible enough, for people to see. So I'm really so glad that, you agreed to be a guest on this podcast.
Thank you. Yeah. I think at some point you need to think about what can I give and how can I serve and how can I be the role model? And that's the shift that really has helped me in the last, I think it's taken me a decade to get here, honestly, in my 40s to say, yeah, maybe it's my position to serve and I'm the village elder. So when I enter a room, I'm like, I'm the village elder. I'm here to serve and listen and help others grow. And that works.
Love it. Okay, last question here. Specifically, I think for women founders, let's say, what's something that you think women founders bring as a quiet strength to the table that they should lean in towards?
So I think women have a lot of strengths. We are more empathetic. We outlive our spouses by 7 years on average. So we have longevity on our side. After the kids are grown, you still have time. Okay. Don't stress out. It's not too late. I think we are connectors. And to build something of high quality, you need to be able to connect well with people and have empathy towards your users. So I'd say use all those skills. We are the ones who say, what about the kids when we step out of the house? And that's what's needed for us to change the world because the people who say, what about the children next are the ones who are going to solve climate change, right? Because this is for the future. We're going to think about what about data rights because we're going to make sure our children are protected. So we come with a very unique set of strengths that men simply cannot have. They're just not born with it innately. I'd say double down on being a woman, right? Rather than think you've been isolated. This is our time to rule the world. There is, especially at least in the United States, especially in California, there's no one telling you, you can't do it. You're not enough. It might come in subtle ways, but there isn't a way that people are going to say, culturally, Laura, you cannot be a CEO. You have to sit it out, right? Or, because you're of a certain age, you cannot do it. People don't do those things. There will be inherent bias no matter where you go. The question is, how resilient are you and how much are you willing to put yourself out there? If you can earn $1 for someone, they will serve you. It doesn't matter, right? Whether it's a venture capitalist or a customer. If you're able to make money for somebody else, they will say, yes, I don't care that you're a woman or a man, I will work with you. And so go with that mindset, go to market mindset, hardcore sales mindset in some ways. How can you bring value to another human being?
I love it. Well, thank you so much. Any last words before we close up here?
No, let's go skiing again. I
Yeah.
adore you, Laura. I hope more women do what they're doing for each other, elevating each other, partnering with each other, mothers especially. So thank you for the opportunity.
Of course, anytime, Mala. And to all our guests, thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this, give us a like, put a comment so that we know we can give you more content next time. Thank you.
Yes.
See you next time.
Take care. Bye bye.